Hello, Scrabble here, and today I'm taking a look at the Steam deal of the day, the Stanley Parable, which I've never played before, but I'm finding this mouse thing quite disconcerting, and I'm finding the sound of the office to be quite disconcerting after having been working from home for quite some time. Like, this is kind of weird. Alright, let's get going. This game is supposed to be pretty quick. How long to beat says 41 minutes, although how long to beat with extras says under 2 hours. So let's just do it. The end is never the end. I watched the trailer for this. Otherwise, I'm blind on the Stanley Parable. I understand that the game is not new, but I'm still pretty blind on what's going on. I don't really know what's happening here. The trailer was interesting. Looked kind of like a weird loop. There was a thing in there that's a mind control.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee
It says press a button for 34 minutes. Could you imagine?
Of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Dun, dun, dun.
No one had showed up to give him instructions.
But they left papers all over the floor? Seems weird.
Say, hi.
And computers on with a
Never
progress
in
bar?
all his years at the company had this happen. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong.
Oh,
Shocked,
this is clearly
frozen
playtime.
solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Now, I'm not going to do anything. And my understanding is that the narrator in this game might be smart and tell me to step out of my office. Or not. Maybe the narrator is not smart and does not tell me to get out of the office. Alright, game, I'll give in. Looks like I can't do anything else. I was like, what if I don't step out of the office? What if I do something else? What's that say? I hate Mondays. Don't we all, Stanley? Don't we all? Whole bunch of other rooms.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I can't find my coworkers anywhere. Do I have to go through... Why are there papers all over the floor with the computer running? That is very strange. Why does every room look the same? Like I'm lost already. Are there 400 of these rooms? This looks like someone climbed up through the ceiling. And maybe they did. Alright. They don't seem... Oh, I see. That I think is a click.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
That room is definitely messed. I wonder if they track how many people do what the narrator says, and how many people don't. This office is very long. There's lots of things written on the board. I want to read it. Won't open. Okay, so here's the lounge.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring.
It's a nice enough lounge.
It's really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
What's this paper
Stanley
say?
simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Don't show me.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
When I click, it makes a typing sound.
At this point,
which is weird.
Stanley's obsession with this room, but at last he'd had enough of the amazing room.
Oh, I should have listened to that.
First open door on his left to get back to business.
Oh, look at that. It's a weird looking room. What's in here?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years
You were
ago.
lying right now. Stop. Weird. Like, I think I'm just going to do the opposite of whatever the narrator says I do. Do not jump from the cargo lift while it's in motion. Will cause death. Penalty for misuse, $1,000. Penalty for jumping off, even though it's going to kill you, $5,000.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
This definitely
I'm not
looks like death.
Really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you.
I love
To
this
show you
narrator.
Something beautiful. Look, let me prove it.
Danger
Let me
everywhere.
prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
How could you possibly prove it? I do not understand what you could do to prove to me that you are good. Narrator.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Got it. Blue door.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Hey, the blue door's behind me.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's
What?
nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place.
What?
Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback.
Sounds good.
There we go.
Whoa!
A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Sure. This time I'll listen to you.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
I don't know what the numbers mean. Let's say 5?
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly. A calling.
This texture's not finished
I
either.
really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley.
What soul?
Don't even try.
You're a narrator.
Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Whoa. Alright.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors?
There was a competitive leaderboard and I missed it?
Answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
Alright, let's do it.
You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
That sounds great.
Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Oh, a loading screen. 2 loading screens.
The baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game. All about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Why'd you give it the worst sound effects? I'm not pressing that button.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable.
You're very welcome.
Hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain.
Are you going to do missile command?
What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Asteroids? What do we get? Minecraft.
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired.
I'm still just typing when I click.
I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough?
Need controls.
Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house.
Where?
This will go here. No, here. And then...
I don't see your house. Oh, here.
Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes.
Beautiful.
It's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy.
Are you sure you made a pretty crappy house?
You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
I think I have to.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come on, Stanley. Go. We have to go mining.
This is an interesting game. I did not expect this.
Looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Nope. You get any creepers in here?
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
All right, what do we got? Is it the Stanley Parable? Is that the new game? What are we? What is it?
Yes!
Oh, Portal.
I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
You give me a portal gun?
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
Let's take our companion cube.
Genius.
Great.
No, actually, you know what?
Hey!
Plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through anymore.
Ooh. Filing cabinets. This is great. This is great. The Stanley Parable Alpha Test. Please rate your experience. Oh! Didn't actually mean to fall. Am I back in the game? I am, except now I'm in like the 500 area. Instead of the 400 area. So weird. Love it. But the map is just endless hallways and doors. And it's still just clicking, typing sounds when I click. Is there like a exit door or something? Hey, 400s. Is it going to take me back to room 427? A lot of monitors. $425. It is taking me back to 427. Hey, 427! It's my room! Except it's different now. And then we got all this stuff over here. Someone clearly watching me. Huh. The textures aren't great, so I can't quite tell what's going on. Or if I'm supposed to be doing something.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now.
Well, I was always the leading man.
I wonder if he's happy with his
Unless
choice,
you were the leading man.
and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
I was going to say, I don't understand. Does he want me to close the window? Oh, hey, I'm back in my room. So I don't know if that was the ending, but it's certainly an ending.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, let's do what he wants this time.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
You got it.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Do not alter without consulting whiteboard manager. Complete today's unfinished agenda items. Write next day's agenda. Reflect. I am not one of those employees. The future was yesterday. Tomorrow is now. Not cost efficient. Standardized graphs. 40x wide. Push for funding for R&D of new coffee machine. Get Chris out of the broom closet. Synergize papers. Ongoing. Hire someone to synergize papers. Papers are too synergized. Fire paper guy. Hire somebody to fire the paper synergizing guy. Who moved my desk? Please keep the targets on the topic of blank. I like this stuff. This stuff reminds me of working in an office. Bi-quarterly, sort of. I mean, my office is not quite as bureaucratic as this. But I think that's a... Get rid of death sport portion in the primary review schedule. I think it's a stupid idea. More water coolers, more water cooler heaters. Chart needs to be more hip to appeal to teenage demographic. Find teenagers to put in teenage demographic. Work hard, hard worker. Work harder, hard worker. Teenagers size demographic. A lot of percent space between teenagers. Throw something in the ideas bin. No more bins or trash cans. Renaming of the ideas bin. Firing of me. What do people want? Things, money, more money. Happy feelings. Mike James, you are fired. Things, but with money to buy more things. Graphs. Graphs about things and money. We have our new product. The stock market is somewhere here. Colored in segment strikes. What's hot profits? Oh, I missed that. I wanted to see that. Using slides to assure employees everything is okay. Nice. I want to see a little more. Everyone is unique. You most of all. They, aside from all being pretty much the exact same shape, they are unique. Number of slides on this slide. Slides, charts, charts and slides. Rate at which charts on the same slide depict the same information. To do, synergize core value expenditures. Shift global market parade. Monetize free to play. Please, no more charts, please. I'm begging. Stop, stop, stop. The boss appreciation minute. Circle the top 20 things. Circle you love most about your boss. I love circle. If you ever find yourself in a conflict with another diligent employee like yourself, but more inclined toward conflict unless you're the kind of person who initiates conflict, why we hire you? Remember that it takes two people to start a fight, and right now you're both of them, and that's got misspelled. What are your dreams for the future? Mitosis.
Stanley just stood there doing nothing at all. He seems to think I have nothing better to do with my time than to sit around and describe
Talk less. Do unbelievably amazing work all the time, every day, with no expectation of promotion or recognition. Don't get fired. This is what I wanted. Let it ball up beside you. Take it out passively aggressive on other coworkers. Resent coworkers for not supporting you more. Now I've seen them all. Ooh, broom closet. Exciting.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Upstairs. I said this time I would do everything you wanted me to do. The boss's office is nice.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this.
Like his paintings.
What dark secret was being held from him?
I am the most expensive boss.
What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
But he did somehow.
By simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
What's my boss got going on back here? Well, that's interesting. Oh, nothing over this way. Okay, I thought there was. Ooh. Where are we going, narrator? What are we doing? What are we doing? Take me on a journey, my friend. Take me on a journey.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Okay. Said I was going to do what the narrator told me to do. Let's go to the mind control facility.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
Mind control.
Did he have the strength to find out?
He did.
Now the monitors jumped to life. Their true nature.
All the employees.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building.
There's mine.
Co-workers. The lives of so many individuals.
That one is nothing.
On a screen, and Stanley.
That one's nothing.
Eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
But how is that mind control?
This mind control.
Oh, I guess I could have walked off there.
It was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
Well, yeah, they told me to press the button and I pressed it.
He was happy with his
Fired.
boring job, that his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly. No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible?
No, I'm doing what the narrator says right now.
Entire life utterly blind to the world.
Yeah, I've been doing exactly what the narrator says.
The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
All right. Maybe there's like 5 things to press for that one. Oh yeah, there's a thing up there too. Like, that says 01, but I don't see the 01. Like, there's the 3. Is this where I came down? No, I don't think so. There's one up here. Is it the 1? That one's 4. Where's 1? Like, I assume we have to press 1, then 2. Three was this way. Four is up here. And 5's at the facility power door. I'm assuming that actually turns mind control online. Alright, one more. Press this big number 5. Nothing happened. Is there a 6? I'm not aware of a 6. Doesn't mean there isn't one. Maybe you gotta press them later. Mind controls are idle, awaiting input. Oh, maybe we gotta turn the system power on.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Don't give me credits. Are they gonna give me credits?
Blackness and a rising chill of
No.
uncertainty. Was it over?
It's never over.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
No, that's not a thing.
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
All of them.
Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing.
It's a TV.
Stanley stepped through the open door.
This isn't a door.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
If I was at a building, there'd be like a parking
Stanley
lot.
was happy.
Well, that's nice that Stanley's happy with whatever's going on. Oh, achievement unlocked. Beat the game. I wonder how many achievements there are. Alright, we're gonna do the same thing except this
Stanley
time.
thought to himself, am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. No, the orders were still missing. For now.
Well, that was different.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh. I will be going down the stairs, but at the moment...
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety...
You open the door or what?
So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Come on, just open the door. Come on, narrator.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Alright, great. I'm gonna turn on the machine this time. Oh, I guess other things that I didn't do was to not jump off the thing. That also did not happen.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read
Taking the
Mind
escape
Control
is another thing I have to do. There's a lot of neat little things.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Come on.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to
Yeah, just let
find
me through,
out?
man.
Now the monitors jumped to life.
What's that say?
Their true nature revealed.
Employee
Each bore the
observation
number of an
protocol.
employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers.
In the case of a
The
Class
lives
3
of so
event,
many
close system gates,
individuals
consult with
reduced to
supervisor.
images on a screen.
Primary
And
consoles for
Stanley,
info
all
dump.
of them, eternally monitored
If an
in this
employee
place,
leaves the
their
office during work
freedom
hours and a
meant
system
nothing.
loop has failed, you must terminate. Please note that employee 432 is a test case, while the need for protocol 24 may seem unlikely. Procedure 2A to 2C need not apply. In the event of 432 attempting to leave the office, contact the supervisor and then contact 432 prize pool. Switch over to desk control. Huh. Very interesting. Where's employee 432? There, that one. Well, looks like they escaped too.
This
Oh, okay, this gate was
mind-controlled
closed.
facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
My child just brought me $50 for her shop, which I will attend later.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable.
You can stop talking, narrator.
Was it
It's
even
fine.
possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
Yeah, we're gonna
As
turn this
the
on.
cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After
Hopefully.
they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go. Turn the controls off and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2
Now?
minutes. Now this makes things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A
Come
moment
on.
of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood.
Ooh.
You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them.
Oh,
Turned
they're
on the
erased.
machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it,
Ooh.
I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
One?
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back
3.
the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
Incorrect. 2.
Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is
Think
it that you
2?
have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? One?
Green.
Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
There are 3 attempts remaining.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle.
I know, I don't know.
And then nothing. No ending here. Just you being...
I don't actually know.
Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
If there's a way to stop that, I do not know what it is. I'm not sure. Either I don't know, the hint is not very good, I haven't figured it out. We're going to make a few more choices. And then...
Already this was uncomfortable. And Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Huh.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, I want to go through the escape this time.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling away
Through the escape, narrator.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Boop. It's the feeling, money's for stealing, but not yours, of course. That's a lovely purse. Okay. Guess I can go in the executive bathroom. Oh, look at that panda. Poor thing. Let's check out what's in here. I know this isn't my boss's office. I know this isn't going towards the big thing labeled escape. But I was curious. I like that the narrator's singing. I'm singing in my head, buddy. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I wish there was like an ending tracker or something. Maybe there is, and I just don't know about it. But I can be sure I've seen all the things, or not seen all the things. I know that I have not seen all the things at this point. I wasn't actually going anywhere. That's the end of it.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
You gotta turn on the thing. Oh, he opened the door for me. Okay, cool. I like that it's tracked that I've done this before. That definitely makes this easier for me. I wonder how many endings there are. Alright, let's see. Google says 19 endings. I just did a quick search
Stanley
for how
walked
many
straight ahead
endings.
through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Nope.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
It doesn't look like it goes anywhere, actually. Maybe I'm going somewhere.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
What if I want to go to my violent death?
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Hey, look at this. I think I died. I don't think he lied to me that time. Oh. Maybe he did.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to
Oh,
his
come on.
demise, it reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever.
This is a weird way to kill me.
Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Well, I don't think I have a choice. Oh.
Farewell, Stanley, cried
What?
the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
So it didn't, and now I have a different narrator. Oh, that's neat. Wait, wasn't that just another way?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Ooh.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Nature paintings. Oh, these are all the paintings that are used in the office. Nothing on that side. Ooh, Stanley's computer. Office layout. The blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development. So the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Right, where this is your thing, and you come through. You go this way, and then you get the choice. Corridor. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. The corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the two doors in a good time. Makes sense. The set of two doors is the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. Right, with the narrator. And what's this? Just your average cubicle? Button sounds. A selection of sounds used when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke. Nice. What's this? Just filing cabinets? Oop. Hit the mouse. Filing cabinets. Okay. Office computers. We get the progress bar. Employee database, sure. And a solitaire. Credits. Nice. I don't see narrator 2. The impeccable Kevin Brighting as the narrator. What else we got in here? Office clock. Ooh, the boss's office. Oh, that's weird. In this boss's office, it's empty. Maybe it went through numerous designs. Screens from the development, yeah. This is super cool. I like this. Underground, an early version of the underground portion. Oh, they didn't have a crappily labeled escape.
See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room. This perfect
Narration outtakes.
It's the kind of thing you pick up on intuitively. Then he pushed the numbers there. Good and bad game design. Stanley stood on course. You being you, you'll probably spend the next hour trying to solve it. Here, I'm just going to make this easy.
Ooh. Stanley stood on the roof. I don't think I definitely haven't seen that part yet. Freedom Ending, the very first incarnation of the Freedom Ending. Neat. This is really cool. Countdown desk. One of the desks from an early version of the Countdown Ending. Freedom Ending as it existed in beta. Oh, there's an exit. The countdown room. The monitor room elevator. For a time, it could go up or down. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down, and placed the two endings together instead. Interesting. We had an exit over there, but we'll not take that yet. I'm still interested in looking around here. This is the level that William, the level designer, sent Davey, the writer, as a kind of addition piece. The strength of this level got William hired to design the full game. Though much of the environment's changed, the basic layout is still the same. Interesting. Hey! Stanley's office. Multiple designs of Stanley's office? Looks like it. From left to right, the evolution over time. Each one was, okay, created years apart. That's very simple kind of office. Then we rearranged things, gave him a bigger desk. The, something about a boss. And the I Hate Mondays desk. I will be up later to spend my money. Oh, online shopping. Very modern. Lovely. Okay. Okay. I don't think she has an online store set up, but who knows? From Forrest Guinness, dear narrator, how do you stay in shape? Sincerely, Michael the Rock Merton from Pixel Sith. I have burning questions. How surreal will this game be? What is Stanley's last name? What's this? Narrator emails. After the second trailer, we asked people to email the narrator for questions. Well, we initially planned to use these, and for the promotion of Thursday, we never found the use for them. Here's a selection. How do you make a JRPG? How do you make the worst game ever? What is the difference between a duck? A duck and what? These are screenshots of the Stanley Parable HD remix. More endings, fewer endings, more narrators, fewer narrators, more Stanley, less Stanley. The point of the HD remix is to win. Am I going crazy? Maybe it isn't the same image. Was that clock there before? I don't remember. How do I go back? How do you check for me? We submitted the Stanley Parable to Valve's Greenlight. The Greenlight page only had a series of cryptic photos, which are still enough to win. Warzone redesigned an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient. We waged war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters. This is like very different. There's a lot of neat things in here, you know? Maintenance room. Also the textures, the office plants. Oh, okay. I know where I am now. So we've almost explored everything in here. This area is really neat. I'm spending a lot of time in here, but it's really cool. Oh, the lounge. I like the lounge. What's this? The apartment timer. In a previous version of the choice leading to the apartment ending, a timer would give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending. Cargo lift. The second version is functionally the same, but we wanted it to look more like a place where cargo is actually stored, right? Because it didn't actually look like that. Always intended to offer the choice of staying on or jumping to a different path. After this early version, we decided we also wanted the option of the player falling to their death, right? Which I didn't do. I did jump, but I did not take that option. Meeting room. Maintenance layout. The flow of the hallways following the first two doors was important to get right since players will replay them so many times. It was the simplest version that won. Right, first choice, obey, disobey. Confusion ending? What about this? There's a vent? There's a vent? And there's a vent in the lounge. And they go to a confusion ending? That's interesting. Which version is the simplest version? The other entrance would be hidden depending on how you entered. Interesting. One doorway to maintenance in the lounge. Doorway to maintenance in lounge in the original back on track option. Two doorways to maintenance. And what about this? It looks like there's a doorway in the lounge then? There's a confusion ending? I feel like I'm confused just hearing about it. The game is now paused. Escape menu. We had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Few players realized this is what they were supposed to do. The game is now paused. Oh, there was a button on it. Interesting. What's this? Zending model. The Zending went through many iterations. This room represents the fourth version. We thought it was complete, but decided to abandon it and change it again. What's the Zending? These are part of the levers. Describe what color they had pulled. Have I done the Zending? How do I know? I don't think I have. Eventually cut and merge with another part of the game. Oh, okay. So it looks like the Zending is not actually in the game at all. If I'm reading that correctly. Okay, so here's the exit. I was like, where's the exit? There you go.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
I can't see. No.
No, perhaps not.
It's dark now.
Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path.
That didn't say there was an ending. Maybe I was supposed to get squished. What?
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
What? Why are there papers everywhere?
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
I don't see the vent.
But eager to get back to business,
If there's supposed to be a
Stanley
vent,
checked
I
the
don't see
first
it.
open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Ah. This is the Confucian ending. This has to be the Confucian ending.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
You're just messing with me now.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Come on. Come on, narrator.
Now, let's see. We went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now.
That's where I went,
This
for
story
sure.
is absolutely, definitely this way.
It's like I'm going to be prepared.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay.
I actually closed my eyes for a second there.
Back to,
Mind control works.
Who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The
Yep.
whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning.
Okay.
And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay. From the top.
Alright, you got it. Okay, so that's the Confusion ending. Everything's kind of normal now.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
And once again, we know how they have chosen.
When Stanley... Wait.
What?
Wait, what?
What?
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be...
What?
Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors?
I
Did you
didn't.
move
No.
the story somewhere, or... Hold on.
This is not the room that's supposed to be here.
The story was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then.
Come on, narrator, because I'm gonna need you. Oh no.
Stanley, let's find the story.
I guess we can go that way. Let's go this way. This is really open. Whoa! Got to turn around here because I have no idea where I am. Hey, this area is off. Now we're kind of back to normal. Are these just random halls? Hey, found something.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you.
Everyone
there
knows what you
definitely
did.
Was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
Yeah, I'm
I
behind
feel
the chairs.
unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
We're back to
decided
normal?
go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
There's no doors.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Go back the other direction and see if we missed anything.
I mean, I don't seem to have any choices, so sure. But I imagine we didn't miss anything, and then it goes back to being normal.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something.
This wasn't here before.
Story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
I love it.
Now this Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so.
Where the heck am
I
I?
can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building.
I did.
Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Yay!
Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job.
Thanks. That feels really good to win.
No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
I definitely feel like I've won the game, though. At this point. Oh,
All right. I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line.
Where's this going?
Just follow the line. How simple is that?
This isn't going where the story went before. So I will gladly follow.
See, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa.
Nice.
Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story.
Will it?
Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Alright. Take a look at the fern. You want to restore the music?
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this
not again.
Not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
How do you know when you're actually at the end?
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Okay. 437, but what about employee 432?
Yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything.
Slightly dirty walls, slightly dirty floors.
Go wild. Use your imagination.
Now we're just going in a circle.
I'm ready for it.
Something. How about something more than... Oh, hey, the adventure line's back.
Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Oh, what? How'd it get up there? Ooh.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control.
Is it?
How important we must
I feel like it's not.
The opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere. which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts,
we should go left.
The right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Ah, the Confucian Ending. You've been playing the Confucian Ending for 16 minutes.
The Confucian Ending.
Unable to go anywhere, game restarts on its own, follow the line, find an identical replica of the option that has begun to deteriorate.
Eight times?
No longer an office, simply black space, wander in the blackness, find a bookstore, get bored. The narrator is gone. After a long time, Stanley dies.
So now,
Narrator forgets previous restart.
Start again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget?
Ooh, find the Confusion Ending schedule. So this is the fourth
My
one.
mind goes blank simply because it's written here.
Adventure and Unexplored, Adventure Line, Nonsense, Philosophy, and Music.
Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide?
Now has many additional doors, aimless wandering. Second restart, office is now a dead end, turn around to the dead end, end up in another
I
building.
don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on.
We're halfway
I don't
done.
want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Come on, do it.
And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone
Why don't we restart the game?
Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey. Though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination.
It says we're in the journey.
I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we?
But also a destination.
Well, in the meantime...
Ooh. Alright, now the narrator should forget.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Means we're in the
Stanley
Confusion
decided to
Ending
go to the
still.
meeting room. Perhaps he
This is the
had
fifth
something
restart
to
of 8.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Maybe that was the end of the
lounge was
Confusion one.
sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door.
Because it seems to me like it's finished.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
I'm not going that way this time.
Really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that
There's still a
story
jump
has
to your
been
death
about
ending.
Nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Whoa.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her.
Is there an ending where I don't pick up? Oh, look at this. Apartment 427.
Stanley, is that you?
Yes.
Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
Oh.
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
What?
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow.
No
He
kidding.
has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Yep.
Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
He's been at work this whole time doing nothing.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined
time with the
that he came
boys.
with two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions.
I did see that.
Down another was a game with a baby. And
I
he
saw
called
that.
it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has.
Undo it, narrator. I don't want to hear the
longer he
truth.
spends here, the more
I don't want to hear it.
invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I kind of want to press that button. I don't know how long I'm supposed to wait. I'm going to press it. Oh, look, I'm at desk 427. Still can't go anywhere.
You see? Can he just not hear me?
I can hear
How
you.
can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to.
Question
I don't
nothing.
make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
That's an ending, yeah? Yes. Alright, we'll do one more. I want to see what happens when I jump off the cargo. Then that's going to be
Stanley
it.
had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
It wasn't.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yeah, I'm going to the
Perhaps he
employee
wanted to
lounge.
Stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
What a nice employee
Standing now in this
lounge.
incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
He did not. He continued to the cargo zone.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
And then we go whoop.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Good job, Stanley. All right, very last thing I'm gonna do. I want to go down
All
the
of his
stairs.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Want to see what happens when I go down the stairs.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
He did. This time he did. Yeah, this time he went through the meeting
Yet there
room.
was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
It's actually really
Stanley
curious.
stepped into the broom closet.
I could go in
but
the
there was
broom
nothing
closet.
here, so he turned around and got back on track.
We've seen the door that says broom closet, so I was actually
There
quite.
was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing?
Yes.
Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely
It was like, did the game
confused.
end? No.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right?
Yeah, I'm
If
kind of
I'd
wondering
said
if this is an ending.
Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever.
Except it says
I never
broom
would have
closet on the
thought to
door.
mention it.
It's a very different door, which is why the game expected
This is
it.
somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Oh, that's my favorite clip so far.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
I actually do wonder if there's an ending here now. All right, let's keep going.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Or downstairs.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours.
How did his car
He
get
might be
here?
fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Maybe.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar.
Yeah.
Were they simply repeating?
Yep, they're all the
Then
same.
Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it.
He's in a video game.
I'm dreaming!
Oh.
He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
What? Why I'm floating?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so
I'm recording a video.
fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that? Oh
my gosh, how long is the narrator going to go?
Responsibility for himself. Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
It's a perfect mantra for this pandemic world.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
I liked that ending.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Stanley is going back to the broom closet,
Stanley
folks.
came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
That's where Stanley's going, to the broom closet.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
I will spend a minute here. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to see more from me, then feel free to subscribe. Plus, it helps out the channel quite a bit. You can share the video. You can comment on the video. I love talking to people in the comments.
Coming to a staircase.
All right, let's see. Can I get to the roof? Is there a way to get to the roof? All right, that's where I want to go. I want to go to the roof. How is there no ending in the bathroom? Hey, because the boss knows what the boss says goes. If the boss has suffered losses, then that's what the boss chose. Do they keep changing things in there? That's cool. Poor panda. Business strategy. Again, I'm inclined to think this never finishes. The door opens. Seems broken now. Maybe it is broken. It's possible I have successfully broken the elevator. Getting bored now. Alright, we're definitely stuck. Begin the game again. Options? Extras? Achievement unlocked. You turned achievements on. Interesting. Okay, we're going to stop there. Again, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that like button. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time.